So in this digestive system, what you're going to essentially do is break down food into organic molecules, fatty acids, amino acids, and saccharides. Chemical digestion is actually cleaving the chemical bonds, and physical digestion or mechanical digestion is basically breaking the food down into smaller pieces to increase the surface area. So general pathway is going to be oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, which then goes to the stomach, small intestines, and accessory organs, and then large intestine. The small intestines, you'll have a lot of breakdown and absorption, and large intestine, you have an absorption of the water and creation of fecal matter. Amylase breaks down starch to sugars. Lipase will hydrolyze fats to lipids, to glycerol and 3 fatty acids. And you have a lot of peptide hormones that I'll go into later. So in the stomach, you've got gastric glands, which respond to the vagus nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system. Mucus cells produce H2CO3, which protects the walls from acidic stomach, so it'll neutralize the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Pepsin breaks down the peptides in gastrin and G cells. These are very important. Gastrin will produce HCl and mixing. So gastrin is basically the mode, it'll start the digestive process. In the small intestine, you have two things, duodenum and jejunum and ileum. So duodenum is the majority of the digestion. You have digestion of proteins, sugars, and lipids here. You've got enteropeptidase, which will activate trypsinogen, which will produce trypsin. And bile is a complex fluid that serves as a bridge for polar and nonpolar regions, helps lipase break down the ester bonds. So the bile is really, really important because you need to essentially make the lipid soluble. So it'll solvate the lipids. Jejunum and ileum, major function absorption, lined with villi, and then in monomers will go through the villi into the capillaries and then take it into the bloodstream. Water-soluble compounds will go into capillary bed, and fat-soluble will go into lacteal. Large intestine is reabsorption of water, salts, and formation of feces. You've got the rectum and anus. Rectum's where the feces is stored. And you have a lot of bacteria in the gut. Some of the accessory organs, you got pancreas and liver. So pancreas has endocrine functions, break down sugars. Liver takes up excess sugar to build up glycogen for long-term storage and detoxifies the body. You've got modification of urea and also alcohol. So here's cells in the digestive system. You got sheath cells, which produce pepsinogen, which will break down peptide bonds. Parietal cells will produce HCl in the stomach to increase HCl, and gastrin will increase HCl and churn the stomach to mix the acid. Some enzymes, sucrase will break down sugars, dipeptidase will break down the dipeptide bonds, and enteropeptidase will activate trypsinogen, which will then produce trypsin. Some hormones, secretin decrease acid, increase H2CO2. Secretin will help decrease the acidity by decreasing HCl and increasing the bicarbonate, which uses up the HCl. And chlorocystokin will promote satiety. Anatomy and physiology. Small intestine again. So you got the duodenum, which is a breakdown. Jejunum, which is the absorption. Jejunum and ileum are lined with microvilli to increase surface area. Vitamins are absorbed in the ileum, and bicarbonate neutralizes the HCl. Large intestine absorbs the water. There's three parts of it: cecum, colon, and rectum. Which rectum stores the feces. It's shorter than the small intestines. Radius is larger, however. Large intestine also houses lots of bacteria, so some bacteria will break down lactose, for example, using lactase in the large intestine. Next, you get the liver. So the liver will process nutrients, glycogenesis, detoxify, and it'll also create the bile, albumin, and clotting factors. Albumin regulates blood osmolarity. And finally, after the liver makes the bile, it'll be stored in the gallbladder, and bile is made up of cholesterol, bilirubin from hemoglobin, and bile salts. And biles will emulsify fats to increase the surface area, and in order to allow the to be worked on by lipase. Finally, the pancreas creates a lot of the digestive enzymes and hormones that will regulate and control the digestive process.